Hello everyone, welcome back to another installment of Life Stories. You know me, my name's Trent, and as things usually work around here, we are back with more stories from Reddit / idontworkherelady. So buckle in, because we're getting started now. Our first story is titled, Nice Try Karen, but You're Not My Mother. Where the story takes place is actually the only motel my parents have managed thus far. It's pretty old, and a lot of things have to be manually done or switched on or off. So, it was a Friday, and early evening. I was heading down to the opposite side of the hotel to turn on the exterior lights, the electronic sign, parking lot lights, etc. This motel didn't have all the doors with electronic locks, so the door I had to get through was actual lock and key. So I'm walking down past all of the rooms, when a door behind me opens. I keep walking, barely throwing a glance over my shoulder. I eventually make it towards the end, and am just about to pull out the key when I hear rapid footsteps. I turn around, stopping another wild Karen in her tracks. Alright, she didn't really look like a Karen, but I had been in the lobby when she checked in, and yeah, no doubt about it. For a second, she actually hesitates to talk, almost fooling me into thinking, oh great spaghetti monster, was I wrong about her? Ha! Nope. Karen begins to berate me for not being behind the desk and getting her food. What the hell? It's a motel. Where does she think she is? La Expensive Hotel? I tell her in a mocking way, since I honestly give zero hex about what she thought. Oh sure, let me just snap my fingers and conjure food from the non-existent kitchen, Your Highness. She did not like that. I was sure she would start yelling at me for mocking her, but nope. You're a witch! Once more, I ask, what the hell? This just took a turn that made me long for a big stick to smack her upside the head with, because something was obviously just rolling around up there. Maybe if I smacked her hard enough, I could make her qualify to be shipped up to the loony bin or the funny farm. I start laughing in her face, mostly from my own thoughts. Her face starts to turn this shade of red that makes me laugh even harder, because it makes her look like the tomato from VeggieTales in a blonde wig. Why are you laughing? I'm the manager's wife, and I can fire you. Still laughing, I'm bent over trying to breathe properly, with tears streaming down my face from laughing so hard. That makes me start snorting from breathing in and out at the same time. I know that's total BS. I wrote in my first post about my parents, right? My parents are the collective manager here. She has no idea. I eventually take a deep breath, clench my nails into my palms, and look this Karen straight in the eyes. You'd fire your own daughter, Mom? I later told my mother about this, and she kinda found it insulting I'd say that. My mom is so much better looking, according to my father. Ugh. Karen looks so dumbfounded by what I'd said that I have to actually turn my head towards the side completely so she's out of my line of vision so I don't start my laughing fit again. She huffs angrily and walks away. I turn the lights on and think that's the end of it. Nope. The morning shift typically has to clean up breakfast. And since I was helping my dad, who at the time was suffering from something unknown in his legs that made it painful to walk, I was the one that was cleaning up breakfast. It's from 6 to 9, and it was about 15 minutes from 10. I was just wiping down the counter now. Nothing was left from breakfast on the counter, except for coffee for guests. I go into the back office and start washing dishes, which means that my dad has to keep his ear out for the door chime to go off, signaling that someone has come in. I am in the middle of washing dishes when I hear yelling coming from the front. I'm greatly concerned for my dad and rush towards the office, grabbing my phone from the front desk in case I had to call 911. I didn't. Lo and behold, Karen had arrived. She was yelling at my dad about how there was no breakfast set out, how he was a crappy employee and she knew the manager. Yeah, well she did. She was talking to him after all. My dad kept trying to explain breakfast hours were over and they were under no obligation to keep it open for her, even pointing to the sign right behind his head that stated the hours too. Karen was not having it. She saw me as soon as I walked in. And your employee cursed me last night when I was simply asking for directions. No, she didn't say cursed at me. I have to do the whole nails and palm trick to not start laughing at the memory, because I would no doubt get in trouble for that. My dad turns to me and gives me this questioning look. I shake my head and shrug. Ma'am, she's not an... I want her fired right now. Well, as we say in the industry, the customer is, unfortunately, always right. My dad turns to me, his face away from Karen, and gives me a grin before saying, "You heard the lady, you're fired." I give him a returning grin. "Okay, Dad, I'll go finish the dishes." Karen starts sputtering nonsense, but my dad turns to her and says, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" Karen demands to see the manager. Now, in the back office, a few steps away from the open door that separates the office from front desk, I watch my dad stroll into the office, in quite a bit of pain, which made me mad, close the door, wait a minute before he walks back out and says, "I'm the manager here, and I'm asking you to leave the property." Karen screams, "Well then I'm not paying!" Okay, guess what? You already paid at check-in, with cash that requires a $50 deposit, so therefore, you're not getting it back. My dad shrugs, and I walk out from behind the desk a moment later to refill the coffee pot, where Karen has moved to get some. That's right, she didn't leave. Karen starts yelling at me now. It's endless screaming and yelling, I swear. "What the hell are you doing? You're fired!" I smirk and tell her two things. One, I'm the manager's daughter, and not actually an employee. Two, the coffee here is for paying guests, and since you clearly stated you're not paying, you can't have any. The coffee was out anyways, so she couldn't get any even if she tried. Karen, now understanding why I called her mom the previous night, storms off. I don't see her again for the rest of the weekend. Witch 2, Wild Karen 0. Hell yeah, let's go witches! Moving along, our next story is a short one titled, "I wish Wally World employees could wear PJs, my dude." I used to work third shift at a franchise diner that rhymes with Lenny's. As such, I was such a zombie during the day, I'd spaced out entirely. I left work one morning, couldn't sleep, left home around 10 a.m. in my PJs to get some painting supplies, because if I was going to be up, I wanted to be productive. So, I was browsing the painting supplies, canvases, I believe, and debating how much or how little I wanted to pay for the day. This dude behind me, maybe in his 60s or so, must have been trying to catch my attention for a few moments, but I am zoned out and he was getting annoyed. Finally, he speaks up and just goes, "Excuse me, where are the envelopes?" In that tone that immediately makes me confused because he's annoyed at me. I don't know. Don't you work here? I had to look down to remember what I'm wearing, just in case, but nope, I was wearing my favorite hoodie and yellow PJ bottoms. I gestured helplessly at my clothes and just kind of went, "I'm wearing pajamas." He responds, "Well, I don't know what you kids wear to work these days," and left, leaving me in a state of sleep-deprived confusion. I think back to it every so often and hold out hope that Wally World employees can go to work in their PJs someday. Listen, even for me, I feel like it would be pretty easy to not pay attention to what employees wear at any given store, because sometimes it's kind of all over the place, but pajamas? Come on, man. Use your eyes. And moving along again, our next story is titled, "I might be a chef, but I'm not catering this party." Hi, fellow Redditors. I've seen various videos on YouTube that read Reddit stories, and realized I had a few stories of my own. Well, it's your lucky day, my dude, because I'm reading out your story right now. As this is my first post, please let me know if I've done something wrong. Insert standard mobile warning here. Also, this story is 5 to 10 years old, so I may not remember all the details. This takes place at my grandmother's 30th birthday party. I know it sounds weird, but all my life she claimed she was 29. I figure this was actually her 80th birthday, and told my boss such since the party took place in a different state. Her birthday was close to Halloween, so the guests were encouraged to come in costume. Having recently graduated from culinary school, I wore my old chef's uniform that I used to wear to my classes. Nice, cheap costume, without having to pay any money. The party catered with all kinds of seafood that my grandparents ate on their yearly winter excursions to the Florida Keys. When it came time to eat, I happily filled up my plate and sat down at an empty table to eat. My grandpa's cousin, GC, was sitting at a neighboring table, eating with one of the other party guests. She said something about the nerve of the staff eating while the party was going on to the person next to her, indicating me. Being shy, I got up to find my mom and told her what GC said and ate my food. Later on in the evening, my mom introduced me to GC as her daughter. That's all there is to this story. Nothing too crazy. For reference, I have no idea what the uniforms of the catering company looked like, as none of their employees were at the party. I remembered this story because my grandfather's 90th birthday party was recently, and it took place in the same space. Thanks for reading. Oh, well, that one was kinda wholesome. Good way to cap this episode off, I'd say. And with that, as you could have guessed, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. You know how this thing goes. My name is Trent. This has been Life Stories. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos coming soon, and I hope to see you guys later.